It's Wednesday, January 23rd. Probably one of the weirdest beginnings I've done, but
It's Wednesday.
let's see. So we finished out the secret word speeches, and then so Thursday, 2 days from today, is the last boys' home game. If you go to that game, we get a house point for you supporting the team, which also gets you a B point for you supporting the team. All you have to do is be in the audience crowd, and then cheer, and then you're good to go, and it gets you the point, and you should be fine from there. I'm going to talk about the Fable thing here in just a moment to help you out on that one, and I'm also going to talk about the Honor Society a little bit and tell you guys what that is, and we can help you out from there. Tomorrow, we are not doing speeches. We don't do speeches again until Thursday. Tomorrow, we're going to do a little grammar thing, and then we're going to be going to the library. And so then Thursday we'll go back to doing Fable speeches. Again, my goal is I try not to do more than 2 days of speeches in a row without a break, because it seems to make kids' brains go mushy. Did that one secret. Oh, so for you guys, next week, do not get rid of your green sheet. We have a second round of speeches coming up next week where we are going to be doing this again. But second round, things get tougher, because it's going to get you ready for your bigger speech coming up. Because today's Fable Create speech is a fairly easy speech, but you have a bigger one coming up. Next week, when we do this again, there's going to be things where you get to pick your own word if you want to. You get a chance of earning up to 6 B points when you give your speech. And there's like other little rules that go into it. There's going to be a change on what you get to talk about. It's still going to be a story, but the change is you have to continue the story of the kid who went before you. So wherever they stop, you pick up and keep talking. So the whole class period becomes one long story as one kid ends and they say, and then Joey was running towards the dinosaur, and they run out of time. So then the next kid gets up there, you have to tell us what's going to happen with Joey and the dinosaur. And it becomes one big long story from one kid to the next. Makes things way more entertaining and fun, and freaks kids out. Oh, you also cannot say or like during your speech. Every time you say or like during your speech, you get to choose a punishment. One of them is like a loss of B points, and then one of them is getting shot with a water bottle, and there's like all these fun things that happen every time you say or like during your speech to try to break you of that bad habit, because some of you guys really say ums and likes a lot. Daryl.
What if you use like?
Find out when I talk about it.
Like
Jake.
Does count as
Find out when I talk about it. I know, it gives you something to look forward to. Yep. Find out when I talk about it. Avery. Find out when I talk. You guys are the best. All right, so we're good to go there. Honor Society. I have an invite for a couple of you. What this is, the invitation to the Honor Society does not mean you're in it. It just means that you're being invited to apply. It is the Good Kid Leadership Club. You get the invite going off of your grades. If your first semester grades, meaning first and second 9 weeks combined together, was an A- or higher, you get the invitation. If it was lower, you don't get the invitation from there. There is a meeting today during BEST you will want to go to where we're going to answer questions for you. And then I can answer more questions tomorrow in class and stuff like that. And then there's info up here for you. Let me pause for a second so I'm not reading names.
This part makes me so mad.
Those of you who got invitation, go to the meeting today during BEST. We'll explain more to it then. There's an application that goes into it and things like that. Others of you, if you think you had an A- average and did not get the invite, you just have to let me know and I can contact the lady who runs all the grade things and she can double check. Sometimes mistakes are made. If you know your grades were not good and you still want to do it, you do have a second chance at the end of 7th grade. And you can do it going into 8th grade, and that's fine also. Like some of the things that the Honor Society, did you guys ever do like in elementary school when you had like those carnivals?
Oh, those were those kids?
Yeah, those kids who ran all those carnivals, those were our Honor Society kids. And or if you came to the like back to school night, like you guys got to tour the building, and there were the kids who like gave tours around and showed you where to go, those are the Honor Society kids. And so they sort of like help out the school. The benefit is, like when we go to Camp Tecumseh, you're allowed to pick one person that you want to have in your group with you. If you're Honor Society, you get to pick 3 people that you want to have in your group
That's
with
so
you.
unfair.
So that is my reward for being like the responsible kids.
No.
So that's how it goes.
I don't trust people.
Your
Like,
friend says kindergarten.
I'm not trying to see. You trust me? I trust you.
Alright, now looking at your tan piece of paper, I'm going to sort of walk you through this again to try and help you out. One, hopefully your name is at the top, first and last, so I would not charge you points when you have to come up and show it to me in a moment. So this is my way of trying to remind you. You have written your moral up there at the top.
Oh, my bad.
If you've not written moral, now is the time to write it up there so we know what it is you're trying to teach us. For your characters, any character in your story needs to be listed. If you only have one character in your story, that's fine. You list that one character. If you have three, list all three of them. One of them has to be from our notes. Mark it on your paper. Circle it or put a star next to it. On this part, one of your points for your grade is me making sure that you can figure out how our notes went. So if you don't mark one, that means I get to charge you points for not being able to follow directions. So whichever one you say followed our motif, where you have like a shy mouse or a wolf that's a bully or a fast rabbit, you mark that one down so I know you know how to follow directions. The other ones, I don't care as long as they're filled out. If you put a donkey and put that he's stubborn, I don't care. If you put a shark and put that he's grumpy, that's fine, as long as you also have your mouse that's shy. Then, coming down to here, you need to have your title written on there. You get to name it whatever you want. Here are the two biggest choices. Just list the animals. If you just want to call it the shark and the raccoon, that's perfectly fine. But you have to have a title. Or you can be more creative and say the shark that learned how to juggle. I don't know how a shark would juggle, but if that's the name you want to come up with, that's fine with me too. So make sure you have title. Then, this is the part where you actually wrote it. It has to be a minimum of 2 paragraphs. How do we know where a paragraph begins?
There's the space.
There's an indent.
Indent.
Oh, okay.
So I look for an indent. No indent, then it does not work. If you've written yours super sloppy, where like every other line like goes in 5 spaces and goes out 5 spaces, and it looks like you're trying to build a ladder, I can't even tell where an indent is, I charge you points. If you make it, now it's just 1 point, it's not the end of the world. If you wrote it as one giant block of words, that's also not indented, that means I get to charge you the point there. That's that whole learning thing that we get a chance to go into. So that hopefully that helps you. Finally, the last thing you want on there is your moral. That is the last thing you are going to say in your speech, is your moral. The first thing you say is your title, the last thing you say is your moral. That's how I know when to start it, and how I know when to end it. So have a moral at the end. Elliot.
So I wasn't paying attention because I was adding on the thing. What did you say when you did a circle?
No idea. All right.
No, please. What did you say when you did a circle?
Yeah, all right. So any other questions from there I can help you with? Daryl.
Mr. Brovicast, you said we had to circle something, right?
I have no idea. That's so long ago. Santi.
Can I go and check the office in my phone?
Yeah, we'll go to lunch. You don't need a phone for my class. Yes.
You said we had to put one animal from our notes into the story and circle that animal, right?
Sounds right. There you go. Nah, no, he wasn't listening again.
Oh my
You-
God,
You
Elliot!
said it.
Huh?
What?
I just said it!
What was it?
No.
Out of luck again.
Don't tell him.
You said it, Elliot!
When you give speech, here's how it's going to work. You get a 10-point grade just for filling out your yellow sheet. Borrow yours. You follow the directions on here, you get 10 points. Then you get 10 points for speech. Most kids who have gone so far today have gotten 20 points. My goal is to give you 20 points, unless you do something that means I can't give you that. So during the homework thing, when I look at it, I'm just going to go through there and see, did you follow all my directions? Boom, you get your 10 points. If not, each direction you didn't follow cost you a point. For the speech, you're standing on chair again. Your paper that you bring up with you, use your imagination, home children. You are going to put your paper over here on my desk. So you stand up here, and then you're going to put paper here. Borrow yours, thanks. So you're going to take paper and put it here, and then you stand up here during speech. If you need to look at paper, that's fine. You just have to stop talking.
Oh, I have to yo.
My goal is to make it as awkward as possible so that you don't want to look down at paper. I want you to just keep going because, again, if you forget something, make it up. We don't know, and you should be fine. You can look at it up to 2 times, and I don't charge you points. The 3rd time, I charge you points. While you're going through, there is a timer going. I changed it slightly. We'll come back to that. So now you're going to have a person up there talking. As long as you see talky person, that means you should keep talking. What is the minimum length you should be talking?
30 seconds.
So when you get to the 30-second mark, it's going to switch from talking guy to thumbs up kid. When you see thumbs up kid, that means you've made it to 30 seconds. Now, you're welcome to start wrapping up. And then how long can it be?
1 minute.
At 1 minute, it cuts you off and just says, stop. If you go longer, you're out of luck. You have to stop at a minute. You have to say your moral before it says stop. If you don't say your moral, it loses you a point during speech. So make sure you say your moral before it says stop. If you say your moral before thumbs up kid is there, that also costs you a point for being too short. So you want to make sure that you say it between those two. So if you get to like 50 seconds and you've not said your moral yet, you're going to want to start wrapping up. Because if you just suddenly cut it off and go, and then the wolf saw it, don't chuckle things, you don't know what they are. That doesn't make any sense. It's going to cost you a point for being confusing at the end. That's the whole point of you hopefully having practiced this at some point.
I'm supposed to practice?
What?
So much above you.
All right. Elliot.
I will literally give you 5 D points.
No,
if you tell
Elliot,
me
don't.
what to circle.
Ellie, why are you tweaking?
Bro, why would you do that?
I can always get them back. It's fine.
Yeah, you give everybody the answer.
In the top part where it says characters, you mark the one that followed the directions from the notes.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you for your B points.
We said it 3 times.
I know.
Well,
He
I
wasn't
wasn't
listening
paying
those 4 times.
IQ 21.
Then we will be taking volunteers when we get back from lunch. Once we run out of volunteers, then we get to start picking the random kids who have to go. But hopefully we have enough volunteers. Well, actually we're going to do A to Z first, then we'll do that. But I'll probably take the volunteers before A to Z, just so you guys will know in your heads, you don't freak out. In case we run out of volunteers, we have to pick a random kid. I want you to have time to prepare and not completely freak out. Other than that, if you want to know your grade, see me at the end of class, and I can even let you know what you got for your total grade on it. Daryl?
Wait, are we doing when's lunch?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
What's up?
So that means that if you make a mistake while you're saying speech, that means that you just lose B points.
No, it's grade points. This is for a grade.
Oh.
Okay. Daryl.
I just want to. Can I just say something real quick?
Sure.
Elliot, lunch is in like 3